Coach Geitner with us here today. Coach, thanks for joining us here. So, of course, let's talk about the last few months. Of course, everything's been crazy around this entire country. But what has it been like for you trying to sort things out and get ready for this upcoming season that you didn't even know if it was going to happen about a month or so ago?
Right. I mean, clearly it's been challenging, but our challenges that we're facing as far as having a season, not having a season, pale in comparison to the rest of the challenges that are going on. The fall was, we did very, very little. We actually started and had some tryouts, pretty much formed our team, and then we went into pause mode. And then we came back pretty much for 2.5 weeks of purely individual workouts, one coach, one player. So it was a very strange fall semester as far as basketball here at Eastern.
So now, of course, let's talk about how is this season going to be different. Of course, I mean the shortened season, obviously, only a few games. A lot of things changing throughout the year and have already changed in the last couple of weeks in regards to scheduling. How are you guys going to deal with those changes throughout the year, and how are those changes going to make things difficult for the team?
I think one of the challenges, especially, we have 11 newcomers this year, so everything is going to be sped up. I mean, we return to practice this Sunday, January 3rd, and our first scheduled game is on January 23rd. So basically, 19 days to prepare for a very condensed, compact 10-game schedule. So everything when we get back on Sunday is just going to be warp speed for these guys, where you normally could spend all of October, most of November, kind of going through offensive and defensive philosophies with new guys. And even at that point, you knew they would struggle early in the season. This year, it'll definitely be different, strange. And then when we start to play, only playing 10 games, each game is magnified that much more, to qualify for the conference tournament.
In regards to what's going to be going on with the pandemic, of course, there's going to be a lot of different protocols that have to be followed throughout the season. Can you maybe just touch on some of those protocols, maybe, and see, and how are those going to kind of play a role in making sure this team is where they need to be?
Well, I think, first and foremost, safety of the student athletes and everyone involved is going to be paramount. And, I think Eastern has done a tremendous job, putting things in place. We're going to be tested 3 times a week. So I think the framework of being able to pull this off is in place. But like anything with this pandemic, things change, by the day, by the hour. So we're going into it with an open mind. I'm just excited to have the guys back on campus in the gym, doing something that they love. I mean, these kids have really had a tough stretch, since last March. And, for some of our returners, I haven't seen them in the gym or been with them in the gym since last February. So just excited to get started on Sunday with the entire group.
Awesome. Okay, let's see. Just on my agenda. Okay, yeah. So obviously, last year, a bit of a lackluster season in compared to years past. Of course, the program over the last decade has had a massive amount of success in the Little East Conference and even nationally, winning a couple NCAA tournament games. But of course, last year didn't make the Little East Conference tournament for the first time in the program's history. So how are you going to get your newcomers and your returners to bounce back from a season ago?
Well, I think the returners are excited to wipe away last year, the memories, and look for new and exciting year. And the 11 new guys didn't experience last year, and they come to Eastern to get a great education at a great university, but also from a basketball standpoint, they chose Eastern because we have been successful. So I think they're excited to pick up, where we left off a couple years ago, and be ready to compete on a nightly basis, and hopefully have some success. I think having so many new guys, the excitement and the energy will be there.
Now, one thing I want to also touch on is you lost Jake Colligan a year ago, an all-conference guy, one of the leaders on this team. Of course, proved last season that he was one of the best players in the league's conference. What is it going to be like losing him, such a leader and such a great player on the court?
It's always difficult to lose someone like Jake. He was, like you said, an all-league player. Was as good a scorer as we've had here. And he could score so many different ways. So, going into every game, we kind of knew that, all right, Jake was going to be able to score for us. And I don't know if you replace that scoring with one guy. I think, we've got a lot of guys that are excited for the opportunity this year. And I think it's going to be a team effort to replace, the points and the rebounds and the assists that we did lose. Not only from Jake, but, Jake McCarthy and Juwan Gill, who had some big moments for us as well.
I want to talk about a couple specific players. One player I want to talk about really is Corey Muffle. Corey, of course, he came in as a freshman on a very stacked team and started for you guys. And now he's coming full swing his senior season here. What season do you outlook for Corey, and how do you think he's going to play a role in this team as a leader and on the court?
Corey will have a huge impact on this team, both on the court and off the court. I think he'll be a guy that, we're counting on for him to set the tone. He's been part of some very, very successful teams here. He knows, what we expect as coaches, and, he's got to be the leader, and I think it's just not leading, by talking. It's leading by an example, every day coming and working hard and, trying to get better. That's kind of been our motto here. Come every day, try to get better, a little better individually and collectively. And, by the end of this, we'll be a pretty good team. So we're excited to have Corey back and expect, big things from him on and off the court.
Another player I want to talk about, maybe who didn't get as much minutes as maybe he thought a season ago, was Tyrese Woods. And Tyrese, came a guy that I thought came in and was pretty impactful off the bench for you guys last year and sparing minutes. Where do you see him fitting in this year? And do you think Tyrese could have possibly a breakout season?
I think Tyrese is very talented with his athleticism, his quickness. And you're absolutely right. He played some, huge moments and huge minutes for us, especially on the back half of last year. So, we're hoping he just continues to grow and develop. And, I think when we came back and had a couple weeks of individual skill workout with the guys, he was a bright spot. He came in, he was in shape, and he really worked hard and was shooting the ball extremely well. So, I anticipate Tyrese to have a big impact on this year.
So I talked about a couple of returning players who had an impact last year and in years past, of course. Now you mentioned the 11 newcomers that you have this year, something you've probably never had to deal with in your entire career as a head coach. What is that going to be like, dealing with the newcomers coming in a shortened season, of course, only a few weeks to get them caught up to speed with the program? And who are a couple of specific players that you think could really have an impact on this team?
With the 11 new guys, it's very, very interesting. Every drill is, not review. It's new for these guys. So not only offensively and defensively, concepts are new, but even just doing a basic drill, what we emphasize, it's the returners usually pick things up pretty quickly and remember from years past. But, with 11 new guys, everything is a little slower, which can cause some problems in a condensed season. But we're really excited about all 11. We think all of them, have the potential to have an impact on the program, whether it's this year or, a year or two down the road. Guys, I think that, can have an immediate impact. AJ Edwards is a very quick, dynamic point guard. Jalen Williams is a wing who I think can really score the ball. So those are a couple guys I think that we're excited about. But like I said, all 11 I think are going to have an impact on this year, this team, and the program moving forward.
Here with us today, kind of previewing this upcoming 2020-21 season. Coach, I appreciate you joining me here today, and good luck this season.
All right. Thank you for having me.